Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started.
WWE is gearing up for Saturday night's main event, which will take place on May 24, 2025. The card for this special event is interesting, as CM Punk and Sami Zayn are set to pair up against Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker in a tag team bout. With the arrival of the best in the world, fans believe that the return of the original Tribal Chief is also on the horizon. This sparks the possibility of Roman Reigns making his return at WWE SNME. However, it's possible that Reigns may not return to WWE alone, but instead bring Cody Rhodes to Saturday night's main event. The American Nightmare has also been on hiatus since WrestleMania 41. The American Nightmare suffered a loss against John Cena at Showcase of Immortals, leading to him no longer being your undisputed WWE champion. Rhodes may return to join forces with Roman as the 17-time world champion is busy in a storyline with R-Truth. There are also realistic chances that Truth and Cena may collide in the near future in an undisputed championship match. Additionally, Roman Reigns was destroyed by Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker on Raw after Mania. The OTC may return at SNME to seek vengeance against the heel alliance. Moreover, to overpower the numbers game advantage, Reigns could bring Cody to take down the Paul Heyman faction. For those unaware, at Bad Blood 2024, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes united in a tag team match against the New Bloodline and emerged as victors. So, it won't be a surprise if they reunite at Saturday night's main event to destroy the visionary heel group. Earlier, Rhodes was anticipated to make his return at Backlash 2025, but that didn't take place. This makes SNME the next ideal location for his comeback in the Stamford-based promotion. When will Roman Reigns be next advertised to make his appearance in WWE? As of now, the sports entertainment juggernaut has not advertised the OTC for any future event. Meanwhile, the former undisputed champion is officially featured in the promotional material for WWE SummerSlam 2025. This year, the biggest party of the summer will take place on 2 nights, from August 2 to August 3, 2025. This will be the first time SummerSlam gets bigger to a 2-night show. Though Reigns is not advertised officially before SummerSlam, there are still high chances that he will return before this to set up his upcoming feud. As of now, there is a belief that the OTC may initially settle its score with Seth Rollins and co. Further, his impending confrontation with Paul Heyman will also be interesting to witness. Overall, WWE Saturday night's main event opens endless directions, and it remains to be seen what will happen when Rollins and Braun face Punk and Zayn. Saturday night's main event 2025 is shaping up to be one of the most anticipated WWE shows of the year, and the spotlight is already burning bright on one name, Roman Reigns. The Tribal Chief, absent from WWE programming for months following his crushing loss at WrestleMania 40, is heavily rumored to make his long-awaited return at this event. But recent whispers from behind the scenes suggest he may not be returning alone. The question everyone is asking, what is Roman Reigns planning, and who is coming with him? The bloodline, fractured, not forgotten. Roman Reigns' last WWE appearance ended in chaos. Betrayed by Solo Sikoa and left abandoned by Paul Heyman, Reigns walked away from the ring a broken emperor, his once mighty bloodline fractured. In his absence, Solo seized control of what remained, aligning himself with the monstrous Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tangaloa, rebranding the bloodline under a darker, more violent reign. But as Saturday night's main event looms, a sense of unease has settled over WWE. Teasers on social media and cryptic backstage segments have hinted that Roman is not just coming back to reclaim his throne, he's bringing reinforcements. A new tribe rising? Over the past few weeks, fans have noticed several subtle signs. The most prominent, a shadowy figure seen watching Solo's matches from the rafters, wearing a black hoodie emblazoned with the initials RR. Was it Reigns scouting his former stable? Or someone else connected to the Samoan dynasty? According to backstage sources, Roman Reigns has quietly kept in contact with several key figures in WWE during his hiatus. Most interesting among them? Zilla Fatu, the son of the late Umaga. Zilla has been making waves in the independent circuit, and insiders claim WWE has fast-tracked his developmental contract. There's growing speculation that he'll debut alongside Reigns, introducing himself to the WWE Universe as the next heir to the Samoan legacy. Zilla's raw, aggressive style could be exactly what Roman needs to combat Solo's ruthless army. The symbolism would be powerful, the son of Umaga standing beside his cousin to reclaim honor and family unity from within the chaos. Paul Heyman's loyalty questioned. And then there's Paul Heyman. After months of silence, Heyman recently returned to Raw for a one-off appearance. In a cryptic promo, he said, "Loyalty can be tested, but betrayal, my friends, always has consequences." Some believe this is a signal that Heyman regrets backing Solo Sikoa, especially now that Solo has grown more unhinged with each passing week. Could Heyman be the unexpected piece of the puzzle? Perhaps he's working behind the scenes to reunite Roman with another former ally, Jey Uso. Jey, now a solo star on Raw, has remained quiet about the brewing war between Roman and Solo. But if Reigns were to offer an olive branch, or perhaps a common enemy in Solo, Jey could be convinced to return home. A reunion between Jey and Roman, especially if it involves redemption and forgiveness, would be a seismic moment. The Arrival, Saturday night's main event. Picture this. Solo Sikoa stands tall in the ring at Saturday night's main event, fresh off a brutal beatdown of LA Knight. He grabs the mic, declaring that he is the real head of the table now, that Roman Reigns is finished. The lights go out. A haunting video package plays on the Titantron, flashes of WrestleMania, betrayal, family, fire. Then, Roman Reigns' music hits. The arena explodes. The tribal chief emerges, cloaked in black, with a new look, bearded, focused, and colder than ever. But he doesn't come alone. Behind him stands Zilla Fatu, wearing Umaga's war paint, chest heaving, fists staped, ready for war. Flanking them is Jey Uso, arms crossed, eyes locked on Solo. And finally, from the ramp's shadows steps Paul Heyman, torn but standing with Reigns once again. The crowd loses it. The Bloodline civil war is no longer a rumor, it's a declaration of war. What's at stake? If Roman Reigns returns with a new faction, it reshapes WWE's entire landscape. The family war becomes a storyline that could carry WWE through SummerSlam and even into WrestleMania 41. Triple H has long teased a new era for WWE, and a returning Roman with fresh allies would deliver exactly that. Zilla Fatu's introduction brings legacy and freshness. Jey Uso's inner conflict brings emotional depth. And Paul Heyman's role? It keeps everyone guessing. Saturday night's main event could be more than Roman's return, it could be the rebirth of his bloodline. Final thoughts. Roman Reigns has always operated with strategy and timing. If he returns at Saturday night's main event 2025, it won't be impulsive, it'll be war. But he won't be stepping into battle alone. Whether it's Zilla Fatu, Jey Uso, Paul Heyman, or a surprise no one sees coming, Reigns may be forming a new dynasty to take back what was once his. Because when Roman Reigns returns, he doesn't just fight for a title, he fights for legacy. And the island of relevancy? It may be shifting once again. Would you like a version of this with commentary from Michael Cole and Corey Graves added for extra drama? 3 reasons why Roman Reigns should return at WWE Saturday night's main event 2025. Roman Reigns has been surprisingly absent from WWE shows since the April 21 edition of Monday Night Raw. He was assaulted by Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker on the Red brand, and since then, the big dog hasn't been seen. At the moment, it's not clear what plans the WWE creative team has for the tribal chief. Meanwhile, CM Punk has continued his saga with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman. On tonight's edition of Raw, Punk launched a verbal attack on Rollins and the Wisemen, calling them out. Breaker brawled with Punk. The fans expected Reigns to come out for Punk. However, it was Sami Zayn and Jey Uso who came out. Punk and Zayn will lock horns with the Visionary and Breaker at WWE Saturday night's main event on May 24. This necessitates the return of the big dog at the mega event. This listicle will enumerate 3 reasons why Roman Reigns should return at WWE Saturday night's main event. Number 3, to set up for his feud against Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. The big dog needs to return to set up his match with Seth Rollins at SummerSlam 2025. The Visionary has outsmarted Reigns again by getting his Wisemen away from him. For Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman meant everything. The Wisemen had breathed new life into the career of the OTC and WWE since 2020. However, Seth Rollins took it all away. Roman Reigns should return to confront both Heyman and Visionary. At SNME, the Wiseman is expected to come up with something dirty once again. That's when Reigns should return and start his retribution against Seth Rollins and Heyman, ultimately feuding with them at SummerSlam. Number 2, to back up Punk and Sami Zayn against Breaker, Rollins, and Heyman. CM Punk and Sami Zayn will need a backup at SNME. Seth Rollins might come out with another superstar like Drew McIntyre or Logan Paul as the third member of his alliance. Since Jey Uso has already been injured and taken out by Braun Breaker on tonight's episode of Raw, Reigns must turn out at SNME to stand by Punk and Zayn. Number 1 Roman Reigns must return to take revenge on Paul Heyman. Roman Reigns has a much larger issue to settle with Paul Heyman than with Seth Rollins. He has a decade-old rivalry with the Visionary, and it's hidden from none. Both of them have squared off against each other multiple times. It's Paul Heyman whom Reigns would want to teach a lesson. The wise men turned on him at the biggest stage of WWE. First, Paul humiliated the OTC by coming out with CM Punk at WrestleMania 41, and then pulled the biggest shocker of the night by giving Reigns a low blow. Therefore, Roman Reigns must return to confront his former wise men at Saturday night's main event. The lights in the arena dimmed, the crowd in Milwaukee buzzing with excitement and speculation. WWE Saturday night's main event 2025 had been electrifying already, championship matches, high-flying stunts, and surprise run-ins, but there was one thing missing. One shadow that still loomed large over WWE, even in his absence. Roman Reigns. Since losing the undisputed WWE Universal Championship at WrestleMania 40 and stepping away from the spotlight, Reigns had been radio silent. No tweets. No interviews. Not even a whisper from Paul Heyman. In his absence, Solo Sikoa had taken control of the bloodline with a newfound ruthlessness, flanked by Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and the unpinned juggernaut Jacob Fatu. But something didn't feel right. There was no tribal chief. Backstage, whispers swirled. Some believed Roman was done with wrestling for good. Others believed he was waiting, watching from the shadows. But no one could predict what would happen on this April night in Milwaukee. The main event was set. Solo Sikoa, now self-proclaimed head of the table, was scheduled to defend the WWE Universal Championship against Cody Rhodes, who had just won the Royal Rumble for the second time. Cody entered to thunderous applause, white coat shimmering, determined to finish the story again. Solo, on the other hand, entered flanked by his enforcers, golden lei draped over his shoulders, eyes cold. The match was brutal. Solo pounded Cody with savage precision. Outside the ring, Fatu and Tama Tonga interfered constantly, throwing Cody into barricades and ring posts. Despite the odds, Cody fought back, hitting a crossroads out of nowhere and nearly getting the 3 count before Jacob Fatu dragged the referee out of the ring. The crowd booed mercilessly. The bloodline was running WWE with impunity, their dominance unchecked. Then. It happened. Sierra. Hotel. India. Echo. Lima. Delta. Shield. The familiar voiceover sent shockwaves through the arena. A thunderous pop exploded from the crowd as the camera zoomed in on a figure at the top of the ramp, wearing a black hoodie and cargo pants. It was Roman Reigns. But not just any Roman Reigns. This was a version of the tribal chief the WWE Universe hadn't seen before. His hair was tied back, beard trimmed sharp, his eyes burning with fury and clarity. He wore no lei, no gaudy jewelry. Just vengeance. He walked slowly, methodically, past stunned security guards and referees, eyes locked on the chaos in the ring. Cody lay crumpled in the corner. The bloodline stood in confusion, realizing the ghost of their former leader had come home. Paul Heyman appeared at ringside, visibly shaking, torn between fear and hope. He mouthed something, "My tribal chief?" But Roman didn't look at him. He climbed the steel steps, unhurried, and stood on the apron, face to face with Solo Sikoa. Solo, ever defiant, raised his title in the air, grinning mockingly. He mouthed, "I'm the chief now." Roman stepped into the ring slowly. The referee had long since lost control. Cody was out cold. The crowd was chanting wildly, "Roman! Roman! Roman!" Solo walked up and shoved Roman. Big mistake. Roman exploded with a Superman punch that echoed like thunder. The crowd erupted. Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa rushed the ring, but Reigns speared them both with primal rage. Jacob Fatu entered, roaring and ready, but Reigns stared him down, daring him to try. Fatu hesitated. For the first time, the unpinned monster showed uncertainty. Then, in a shocking move, Fatu dropped to one knee. The arena fell silent. Roman looked at him. Then at Solo, who was staggering to his feet. Then down at Cody Rhodes. He didn't lift Cody's hand. He didn't help him win. He left. Roman walked up the ramp slowly, Heyman trailing behind him like a broken man suddenly healed. The message was clear, Roman Reigns wasn't back for alliances. He wasn't back to rescue anyone. He was back to reclaim. Backstage, chaos erupted. Cameras caught Nick Aldis in a shouting match with Paul Heyman. Jey Uso, watching on a monitor, just whispered, "Told you all. Big Us don't stay down long." Social media exploded. Hashtag Tribal Chief Return trended worldwide. Wrestlers, legends, and fans alike reacted with awe and speculation. Was Roman back full-time? Was he going after Solo? Or Cody? Was the bloodline going to split in two? Over the next week, WWE aired a chilling vignette. Roman Reigns stood alone on a cliff overlooking the sea in Hawaii. His voice narrated over the waves. "You don't choose the crown. The crown chooses you. But when your people forget who brought them to the mountain, you remind them." Cut to black. The Tribal Chief returns, Backlash 2025. It was official, Roman Reigns was coming back to WWE full-time, starting with a confrontation at Backlash. Speculation ran wild. Some predicted a bloodline civil war. Others hoped for a triple threat, Roman versus Cody versus Solo. But the one thing everyone agreed on was that the playing field had changed. Roman wasn't here to join. He was here to destroy what had become of his family, and rebuild it in his image. The return at Saturday night's main event wasn't just a surprise, it was the start of a war. A declaration. The Alpha had returned, and there was no more room for pretenders at the table. And so, as the dust settled in Milwaukee and the world waited for what would come next, one truth rang clear: